Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So the past few days we've been dropping a bunch of caster builds for new players. And today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to drop a different type of build with a certain perk that not many people actually run. This perk is called Demon Armour. So we're going to be going over a guide playing PlateLock. Let's get to it. So Demon Armour, this perk, gives you the ability to wear pretty much any plate armor at the cost of 10% spellcasting speed. What makes this perk kind of cool and strange is that you can literally run any plate whatsoever. So if we go over here and we type plate, and say we want to wear plate from Barbarian class, and you see there's a visored salad, right? Required class Barbarian. If I were to buy this with plate on, with Demon Armor, you can actually wear it, which is kind of crazy. You can wear pretty much any plate whatsoever, which kind of opens up your horizons to different kinds of builds that are kind of cool. Yeah, so let's go into the perks a little later, but we're going to go into the armor here and the equipment, see exactly what we can run here. The first thing that came to my mind is Cleric Gear on Warlock could be kind of cool, right? So like Crusader's armor right here is pretty cool. Has base knowledge, which is good for casting. This also has agility on it, but essentially you can wear pretty much any type of gear that's plate. So you could wear plate boots with strength. You could wear light gauntlets. So you can essentially go full plate with knowledge will rolls or magical damage rolls. And you can be pretty much a plate fighter caster with spells. And if you do the perks, or if you do the stats and stuff right on your gear, you could have high knowledge, high will. So it'd be like a fighter spellcaster, essentially. It's pretty crazy. Another thing that makes this insane is, like, say you want to, like, buy, I don't know, let's go to a plate helmet. For Barbarian, of course. And you wanted the rolls to be knowledge, as well as, like, true magic. Typically, like, on Warlock or on Cleric Gear, that would be extremely expensive, right? But you could get some really cheap. 50 gold for knowledge and true magic on a helmet. That also, like, look at this one right here. 2 knowledge, 3 vigor, 2 strength, 1 true magic, and it's 65 gold. Like, you can get some really kind of like off meta gear by using PlateLock, which kind of makes this really awesome. You can make some really strong budget kits. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let's go straight into a Squire build and see exactly what would probably be the best Squire kit to make, because of course this is going to be for like newer players as well. All right, so let's see what we got cooking here. Actually, before we get into this, let's I've been getting asked a lot of different questions about how to get more stuff in your Squire, because as you can see here, I have like a decent amount of stuff in my Squire. In order to get this stuff, you have to complete your quest. So if you go over here to the tailor and you look, there's different sections of quest line. Each time you complete a full section of a quest line, you unlock more Squire gear. So for tailor, you complete the sections and you unlock more cloth armor. Or you go to the armor, you complete the sections, you get more plate armor in your Squire. And leathersmith, same thing. You complete the sections, you get more leather in your Squire. So that's essentially how you do that. That also works the same with the weaponsmith, and as well as the alchemist as well. I believe gives you better crystal swords and staffs. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking about that. Hopefully that helps. Let's get back to it. Okay, so first things first, I'm thinking some cleric gear on Warlock would go pretty hard, some cleric plate. So the two things that kind of caught my attention here, we have Templar armor with will, and we also have Crusader's armor with knowledge. Minus 13 move speed, this is minus 11, so the one with will is a little lighter. The PDR on Templar armor is a little less. So these two I'm going to keep in mind. I'm probably going to start with Crusader's armor here. We got to find like a foundation to see how much knowledge we have. We want to kind of start with 21 to 22 knowledge starting. So we're definitely going to start with Crusader's armor. Boots, obviously I'm going to go with the cultist. I'm kind of biased. It's just too good to get 2 knowledge, 1 will. And when these are common, it's even better, I believe. So we'll start with that. That gives us 4 additional knowledge. I believe that lands us at 19 base kit. As far as the pants go, we're going to want to go with plate for that PDR. The armor is just too good on plate pants. The strength and vigor will help with more HP as well. So we're definitely going to go with these 3 pieces. But this is only 19. This would only land us with 19 knowledge. So in order to get to at least 21, we're probably going to have to go with Kettle Hat. which still has 13% headshot reduction, but gives you another 2 knowledge. So this right here would give us 21 knowledge, which is pretty solid. Or, you know, I always could take the kettle helm off, throw on the rawhides. I'd still be at 21 knowledge. And I use 21 knowledge as the basis just because running Demon Armor, you lose 10% spellcasting speed, right? So you want to have more knowledge to counteract that spellcasting speed that you're gonna lose, because knowledge gives you spellcasting speed. So that's kind of why I'm wanting to be a little bit higher on the Squire Gear. But yeah, I could always take the kettle hat off, throw on some rawhides if I want to wear a better helmet with more headshot damage reduction. And I'm thinking House School might be the move, because this is 23% headshot reduction, which is huge in comparison to 13. So you get 10% more headshot reduction, and you get another 13 more armor, you get vigor. The only downside with this is the minus 10 magic resistance. But the offset of that is Crusader armor also gives you 25, so that kind of like balances that out a little bit. So yeah, with these builds, you kind of have to like wiggle around with exactly what you're looking for, what you need. But this is a pretty decent build right here for plate. Let's put this on and let's check out the PDR and see if we hit 30% PDR. So we go over here. Oh my, look at that. We're exactly 30% PDR. This is exactly where I wanted to be for this kit. So, and I look like a cleric pretty much. So, you know, you might catch people off guard. So I think this is the base kit that we're going to run here. But we got to throw in some weapons. What weapons are we going to run with this build? Before that, actually, let's finish the perks and skills so we know exactly what we're going to run and how much spell memory we're going to need to see if we're going to actually need any more. So with this Demon Armor build, right, you could obviously run one of two things. You could run Torture Mastery and Hydra Life Drain. Those are the two primary ways to run Caster Warlock. If you don't know what that is, I made a couple of videos. Check them out. In my opinion, though, I think Hydra Life Drain might be the move because they did buff it recently in this last patch. So that might be the move here on PDR Fighter. And you can also use Hydra, you know, to like scuff opponents sometimes. You can drop it underneath them, discombobulate them. You can force them into a room and pinch them, or, you know, if they get hit by your Hydra, it does decent damage. So I think I might go with Hydra Life Drain. So if that's the case, I won't be running Torture Mastery here. But we will be running Vampirism, because I stand corrected. It seems to be that Vampirism does scale with Life Drain base, but does not scale with the magical healing stats that you have on your gear. Keep that in mind. I'm glad I was corrected. Thank you everybody in the comments for correcting me. But yeah, so that's what I'll be running on that. As far as the rest of the kit, this is going to be kind of like a PDR tanky-ish kind of kit, and I'm thinking I'm going to be running, you know, some strong melee weapons here. So I'll probably throw on some Shadow Touch. Shadow Touch also really helps supplement with like healing off mobs and stuff like that, so that'll be nice. Ooh, another thing to keep in mind, my magic resistance is really low right now. 30% PDR, which is like decent for a Squire kit, but 13% magic resistance, I'll get absolutely cooked by like wizards or by like Cleric's Holy Strikes rip me, Judgment, stuff like that. So I think a way to offset this, if I throw this on here, that'll balance that out a lot when I go into the dungeon. It's not going to change, but when I go in the dungeon, you'll see that it gives me 25%. So yeah, I think these are some good perks. This build essentially is to be really tanky and have like decent sustain, so you can like take a lot of hits. But at the same time, I'm going to be caster as well, so I'm going to be doing a lot of damage. So I think that's pretty solid. As far as this kit goes, so now we just got to decide the weapons and then what skill I'm bringing with spell memory. Because I'm going to be a PDR spellcaster fighter essentially, and I'm running Demon Armor, I'm probably going to try running Blow of Corruption, because that also does scale with my magical power as well, so that should do some decent damage. So we'll try Blow of Corruption with spellcasting. This is like a good little start here, and then we'll flip over to the spells and see what spells I can run. So I have 15 spell memory I can run. The two mandatory ones I'm going to need is obviously Hydra and Life Drain. That's going to take up a majority of my spell memory cost. I'm not going to need to run Power Sacrifice because I'm not running Torture Mastery. So, but the long range spell I'm going to need is Bolt of Darkness, obviously. Curse of Pain is the primary spell that you're going to use in PvP, so you're definitely going to bring that. So that leaves me with one spell slot and 2 spell memory for this kit, which actually works perfectly. So you could do one of two things. You could bring Curse of Weakness, which is a really good spell that not many people run. Once again, there's like a lot of like weird little spells that people just don't use. Curse of Weakness is insane. So when you use this on a player, it drops all their attributes by 25%, right? This includes their agility, so they run slower. Their vigor, they have less health. Their strength, they hit less. All kinds of stuff. Their will, that means they have less magic resistance. Curse of Weakness in general is really strong, especially for 10 seconds. Also, in case you guys don't know, if you have a lot of debuff duration, it actually extends this more than 10 seconds, but that's probably for a more intermediate build. And that's, you know, debuff duration, buff duration, that's going into a whole box of worms. We'll go into that some other time. But yeah, Curse of Weakness is really good against PvP players. Or you could bring Bloodstained Blade, which is kind of crazy as well. This increases your weapon damage by 5, but this also doesn't consider the fact that if you get a headshot, it actually scales higher than 5 additional weapon damage because there's the 1.5 multiplier, so that's a whole other thing. But yeah, Bloodstained Blade's really good. Also, if you do run Bloodstained Blade and you run this with Shadow Touch, each time you swing, you know, you deal, 3 magic damage to yourself, but each time you hit something here, you heal 2 health. So essentially, with Bloodstained Blade on, you're only taking 1 magic damage per swing, which is like nothing. You won't even notice that's gone, especially, you know, mid-fight, you know, you're super tanky, you're not going to even notice this is the thing. So Bloodstained Blade, Curse of Weakness are the 2 spells I would recommend. Spell Predation is also pretty decent, but personally, Spell Predation is a really good spell that you want to run in trios, so you can take the buffs off of like bards, clerics. I'm pretty sure you can steal heals off of druids. I have not confirmed that, but I'm almost positive because it's a buff. So Spell Predation is really good, but typically only good at big teams because when there's like big buff ball teams and stuff like that. But yeah, so these are the 2 spells I would recommend. I'm probably gonna run Curse of Weakness. I'm just like really good with casting, so like, you know, dropping a Curse of Weakness on somebody just totally hinders them for 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is plenty enough time to kill somebody. So I think this is a pretty solid setup here for this build. It's not bad. It's not bad. Last but not least, we got to go into the weapons and, you know, what magical item we're going to use, whether it's Spellbook, Crystal Ball, Staff. Let's go over the Squire here. So with this build, I'm obviously going to be kind of like a bruiser. Decently tanky. I'll have roughly 30% physical damage reduction and 30% magic resistance with anti-magic on. So I'd recommend 1 or 2 things. If you're really good with Longsword and you practice your parries, you could definitely run Longsword with this. If you're not, I would recommend run Falchion with Heater Shield. The reason Falchion Heater Shield is just always a good go-to is because Heater Shield can block spells if you encounter another Warlock, or if you're a ranger shooting at you. Since you're so slow, it's really good to be able to block. Longsword is really good when you're outnumbered and you can parry, and you can literally kill 2 people with 1 swing. It's pretty insane. But yeah, just to be safe, I'd recommend Falchion Heater Shield. This is probably the move. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And as far as the secondary magic item, you can run Magic Staff if you want. You'll do a lot more damage, but only if you're comfortable with it. And you move a lot slower. I mean, you're already slow in PDR, so I don't think it would make that much of a difference. But it's pretty much up to you guys. I'm probably going to stick with Spellbook. Spellbook is just always my move. There's been too many times you cast with Magic Staff and you like hit the wall on accident, or like you cast it back and you hit the wall behind you and it cancels it, or say if you cast something with your Magic Staff and somebody runs up and bumps into your staff, they can cancel it on their body too, which is kind of crazy. So that's really scuffed. So I typically just run Spellbook. But yeah, that's pretty much the set here for PlateLock. PlateLock's really strong. It can help you on a lot of fights that you typically wouldn't win because you know you're a caster and you're also PDR, so you can go toe to toe with like fighters and stuff, especially when you have your Heater Shield. Yeah, so this build's pretty cool. This is pretty much just the introduction to Demon Armour. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but that's going to be for other videos because this video is probably already going to be long enough. But I hope that gave you guys a little bit of idea as to what Demon Armour is about, what the kit's going to look like, spells you could run. Of course, you could also run Torture Mastery with this, and you can run, you know, Curse of Pain, Power of Sacrifice. A lot of this stuff's up to preference in your playstyle. Just remember that. You can do a lot of different things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to go into the PvP a little later here in the video. If you have any questions, once again, comment down below. If I just suck and I missed something or I misspoke or I'm just wrong about something, feel free to just blast me in the comments. I'm happy to see it. And that's pretty much it. Once again, the Discord's going to be in the description. A lot of people have been joining, like 8 to 10 people a day. It's pretty crazy. If you need any help with anybody, we got a large community. I think we're almost at about 100 people. We run tournaments on Sunday. If you want to, hop in the Sunday tournaments just for fun. This Sunday we're running a duos kill race. Anybody's allowed in. There's no entry fee. I'm covering all of it. And we're pretty sure first place team reward is going to be 15 to 20K per player on the duo team that wins. So if you want to hop in there for fun, there's no entry fee. Just hop in the Discord in the description, DM me, say, yo, I'd like to join, and I'll sign you up. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to drop some PvP here so you can see exactly what this build's going to be about. And that's pretty much it.